In this video, we take a look at the top 5 mobile shaders for Minecraft Bedrock 1.21. The downloads to all these shaders can be found in the link in the description down below and in the pinned comment. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Starting off this video, Sean, we have the Solace Visuals version 1.1.1 shader right over here. So this here is by far one of my favorite recent vibrant visual shaders. So by the way, throughout this entire video, I'm going to be using vibrant visuals. And here's how things do look like. So you'll notice that this shader has some sort of like a warm feeling to it, if that does make any sense. And over here, we do have the nice looking sun. And guys, you will notice that all of the textures are made to have like a slight 3D effect. I don't know if you guys are able to see, but if you look carefully into every single one of these textures, you will notice that there's like a slight 3D effect, which is honestly pretty cool, and I can definitely appreciate that attention to detail. But let's go ahead and take a look at the water. And oh my goodness, guys, the water is hands down my favorite part about these shaders. So let's go underwater really quickly, and here is how things do look like. So you'll notice that in the water, we do have this awesome looking floor pattern over here. It honestly looks like incredibly realistic, super photorealistic, which is honestly pretty cool. But let's go ahead and set this bad boy to sunset. So let's set it to sunset, and here is how the sunset looks like. So you'll notice that the sun will be reflected on the water, and we have so many different shades of orange, yellow, etc. And we even have a reflection of the clouds on the water as well. Next up, we have the Stylista 128x shader. When you load into the shader, here is how things do look like. So yeah, you'll notice that this shader actually has a lot of realistic textures. So if you take a very close look at it, you'll notice that there's a lot of intricate details and textures in this shader, which is honestly pretty cool. And over here, we do have the sun, which also looks absolutely phenomenal. The attention to detail with the shader is certainly one of its high points. And over here, we do have the water. The water does look pretty good. And if we go underwater, here is how the floor pattern looks like. It does look pretty good. And what's great about this shader is that it's not as laggy as the other shader. Like the other shader, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of did lag on my device. However, this one is a little bit more chill. So you know what? I'm honestly really happy about that. But you know what? Let's go ahead and set this bad boy to the sunset. So here's how the sunset looks like. It does look pretty good. I believe it's basically like the same thing like the vanilla vibrant visuals, but it still does look pretty good and it gets the job done. Not to mention that we do have a bunch of realistic textures over here that you guys can go ahead and take a look at. Next up, we have the AGNI shader version 1.2. When you load into this shader, here's how things do look like. So things honestly look pretty good if I do say so myself. And one thing about this shader is that it's not as like crazy or over the top as some of the shaders previously in this video. It is a pretty standard shader, which is still pretty good. And honestly, one thing I did notice is that all of the lighting and like the colors are made to be more saturated compared to the vanilla Minecraft. So that is certainly a major plus. Let's go ahead and take a look at the water over here. So here's how the water looks like. It does look pretty good. I believe it's pretty standard. I believe it is a default vibrant visual shader. So yeah, you know what? This is still a pretty good shader if you do ask me, because it's not over the top. It's not going to lag your game and like completely make it unplayable. So if you want like a lower end shader on like a lower end device, then this is certainly the shader for you. Next up, we have the Immersive Visuals pack. When you load into this shader pack, here's how things do look like. So you'll notice that the colors are certainly made to be far more brighter and more saturated as well. So that is certainly another major highlight. But my favorite part about this shader in particular is certainly the water. So here's how the water does look like. You'll notice that there is going to be an intricate animation over here, which honestly looks absolutely spectacular, and we even get like this cool sparkling effect on the reflection of the water. I hope you guys are able to see that. So that is honestly really cool, although it is lagging my game. So you know what, I only suggest like using the shader if you have like a higher end device. But let's go ahead and check out the underwater. So here's how the underwater looks like. It does look pretty good if I do say so myself. So you guys can go ahead and definitely have a good time playing on the shader. But let's go ahead and set this bad boy to sunset really quickly. All right, so here's how the sunset looks like. So the sun honestly does look pretty good, and you can see it being reflected on the water over here. We have so many different shades of orange, yellow, purple, blue, all that good stuff, and in general it looks spectacular. Next up, we have the Law shaders. So here's how the Law shaders look like. They honestly do look pretty good if I do say so myself, and here's how the water looks like. So the water is certainly made to be far more smoother in this shader, which I can definitely appreciate it. And if you go underwater, here is how things do look like. We do get this really awesome looking floor pattern over here, and here is how all of the other things do look like. So you'll notice that we will get brighter lighting and a slight slightly more saturated colors, so that is certainly a major benefit. But let's go ahead and actually set this bad boy to sunset really quickly, and here is how things do look like. So you will notice that the sunset is made to be slightly different, like the sun is like slightly tilted. I don't know if you guys are able to see that, but that is honestly pretty cool if you do ask me. And we have so many different shades of yellow, purple, all that good stuff. And again, this is just going to make any of your Minecraft Bedrock worlds look better. Remember guys, the download to all these shaders can be found in the link in the description down below and in the pinned comment. Please like, comment, subscribe. See you later, French fries.